This is He Knows His Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. All right, I want to talk about Jon Jones and I want to talk about Daniel Cormier, UFC. Here's the thing, man. I know a lot of people want to sit here and vilify Jon Jones and say, man, Jon Jones, he's such a cheater. Those wins against Daniel Cormier, they don't resonate. This is what the Daniel Cormier fans are saying. Oh, like Daniel Cormier, he's an upstanding guy, and he does everything the right way. He doesn't cheat. Look, hats off to Daniel Cormier, man. I've said this before in a video in the past when I was exposing Brock Lesnar for having no parts of being in the UFC, and I've already started to be vilified for that. Obviously, you could see some of Brock Lesnar's fans come out and say, "Oh, you don't know nothing about the UFC." Brock Lesnar was a wrestler. Listen, man, they call it mixed martial arts for a reason. It's not just wrestling. There's mixed versions of martial arts that are put into one, and that's why it's called mixed martial arts, because you're using multiple disciplines and you're using it into one sport. The reason why I feel that Brock Lesnar is not going to be successful, and he hasn't been successful as people think he has in UFC, is because he just has one discipline, which is wrestling. That's not going to get the job done. Plus, the man don't like to get hit in the face. Anyone that's been watching knows that he hates to be striked. And if you guys want to sit here and discredit me, go look at that 2014 fight against Alistair Overeem. That's all I'm going to say again. Go look at that 2014 fight against Alistair Overeem. You'll know what I'm talking about. You'll see how the likes of a Brock Lesnar was truly exposed for the true and proper level that he is on. Now, back to this Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier. I don't care what anybody got to say when they sit here and say Jon Jones cheated and this and that. Did he test positive? Yes, he did. But see, here's the thing. When somebody cheats, right, and they test positive for, a drug or something like that, here's the thing. These things do give people the distinct advantage. Me, I'm not a person that advocates against cheating. I think if a person cheats, then they deserve truly what they deserve. If you get stripped, you get banned, so be it. You cheated. That's my take on it. But cheating can't manufacture skills, man. Cheating can't manufacture technique. Cheating can't manufacture what's in a person's head. And that's what people don't fail to realize. Like the Barry Bonds of the world. Yeah, he cheated. But did it manufacture his ability, his hand and eye coordination to hit the bat? Did it manufacture that? Like it didn't. A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez. Did it manufacture his hand and eye coordination? I know I'm talking another sport, but the point that I'm trying to make is cheating does not manufacture the person's skills and their technique and their ability. The bottom line is Jon Jones' skills and his technique and his ability in the UFC is higher than Daniel Cormier. In those fights against Daniel Cormier, Jon Jones had the better skills. He had the better technique. He was the better fighter. This is why he whooped him twice. This had nothing to do with if he tests positive or if he didn't, whatever. Did he have a distinctive advantage? Yes. Because he cheated? Yes. But it does not take away from the fact that the man had the skills and the technique to overwhelm Daniel Cormier. Because last time I checked, even in that second fight, that it was a lot closer, for Daniel Cormier in the first fight as it was in the second fight. He was kind of overwhelming Jon Jones, cheating or not. So what ended up happening? Why didn't Daniel Cormier finish Jon Jones? Because Daniel Cormier has the same problem that he's always had. It's a problem of conditioning. I'm going to say that again. That's the thing. This is what you're going to get from these videos from me, man. I'm going to call a spade a spade. Basically, it just means I'm calling it the way I see it, and I'm calling it how it is. Daniel Cormier has conditioning problems. And that's just the truth. Anyone that's been watching UFC knows that. So a guy like Jon Jones that's way more conditioned than him. Again, steroids has nothing to do with his conditioning, because guess what? He trained, he prepped himself for that moment. All you gotta do is go watch him at his UFC gym and see the type of work that this man put in his ground game. See the type of work that this man put in up top game, his positioning game when he's sitting there and he's throwing his fist, his ground game when he's sitting there and he's getting you on the floor. I mean, just go watch it, man. His striking game. Jon Jones put in the work, man. So when people want to sit here and say, "Oh, he cheated," you taking away from him because you taking away what this man did. Like you taking away what this man has achieved. This man has beaten so many legends in the UFC. And last time I checked, ain't nobody beat Jon Jones. And this is what I'm talking about when I say the Dana Whites of the worlds, man. They want to sit here and only go by the Conor McGregors of the worlds, the Ronda Rouseys in the past, the Brock Lesnar's in the past, the Iceman of the past, the Matt Hughes, the Matt Serras of the past, the Georgia St. Pierre's of the past. I don't like that, man. Like, there's a trend, man. Tyron, Woodley, Jon Jones, Anderson Silva, man. There's just a trend in the UFC. Guys are not getting love. Daniel Cormier is getting love, but you and I both know Daniel Cormier is a puppet, man. He's a yes man, and that's why he's a yes man at Dana White, and that's why Dana White is sitting there and showing him the love that he's showing him. But these guys that challenge Dana White, like the Jon Joneses of the world, the Anderson Silvas of the world, and the Tyron Woodleys of the world, they don't get that same love, man. And these guys are dominating the sport. Tyron Woodley is hands down way better than a Conor McGregor. If Conor McGregor were to go and fight that boy, he would lose, and he would lose badly. Tyron Woodley would embarrass him. And nobody's talking about that. People want to sit here and get caught up into, the Conor McGregors because he says these fancy terms. Like, what's your fucking problem? People want to get caught up in that nonsense. But they're not looking at skills paying the bills here. The bottom line is Jon Jones whooped Daniel Cormier twice. And this man, people need to start putting respect on his name because they're not doing that. And once they fight a third time, you and I know what the outcome is going to be. Daniel Cormier has not only lost the physical battle to Jon Jones, he's lost the mental battle. Because what happened after the second fight? He cried like a little baby, man. He was sitting there and whining. I lost my belt, man. I lost my belt. Thank you to all the fans. And people were sitting there. His crying was so depressing, and it was so annoying to the point where everybody was like, "What are you doing, man? What's going on here?" See, and this is the point that I'm trying to make. Like, Jon Jones has gotten into this guy's head, and Jon Jones has whooped this guy twice. So I don't want to hear this crap about, oh, Daniel Cormier is the best heavyweight, and in this fight between him and Brock Lesnar. I mean, come on, man. That's a joke. Everyone knows Daniel Cormier is going to dispatch Brock Lesnar. As I already told everybody, Brock Lesnar's not ready for this UFC stuff. This man needs to go back to the WWE where he truly belongs and fight in that fake sport. That's what they do. It's fake wrestling. They're not sitting there beating each other up and stuff like that. How come these guys, they have these big pay-per-view events, and then they're sitting there and then they're jumping on each other and all of that, and you see all this fake blood coming out, and then the next day they're sitting there and they're all friends and they're all hanging out at the club or something like that. See, that's where he needs to go. He needs to go right back to that fake sport, man, that WWE stuff. That's where he belongs. He has no parts of being in the UFC, man. That's that real stuff right there, man. That's that sport that I just don't get. I like it, because, just like all the Americans, who doesn't like a little blood and gore and watching people getting their heads whacked off and beat off, like beat upside the head and stuff like that. Who doesn't like that? UFC's good with that. I mean, it's entertaining. But I don't feel a guy like Brock Lesnar should be in that sport. He has no parts of being there. But Jon Jones, he's the real deal, man. And people need to start respecting this dude and understand that at this point, he is the greatest UFC fighter to ever fight. Greater than Anderson Silva, man, because his winning streak has surpassed Anderson Silva. And people need to respect him, man. And when he fights Daniel Cormier for the third time, you and I both know Daniel Cormier is going to get dispatched. There's going to be two reasons for that. His conditioning, it's going to be an issue because this guy, he is a bigger dude, man. Like, he is really like chubby when you think about it. Then when he fights, he kind of gets from like chubby to muscular chubby. This is why this man has conditioning problems, man. Jon Jones is a slim dude, man. Like, if you're looking at the law of physics, it's gonna always vote in Jon Jones' favor. This is why Jon Jones is always gonna be the Daniel Cormier, because he's gonna last longer. He's gonna withstand this man. Plus, Jon Jones has the reach advantage over this dude. Jon Jones' ability to kick is second to none. His stand-up game is unreal. His ground game is way above average. And Jon Jones can sit there and go toe to toe with you, strength wise. See, that's another thing that people underrate with Jon Jones. He's slim, but he's strong as snot, man. He proved it in those two fights against Daniel Cormier. And this is what I'm trying to say. If they fight a third time, Jon Jones will beat Daniel Cormier. That's just the bottom line. There's no way around it. You got anything to say about it? Comment. Let me hear what you got to say. And give me your viewpoint on why you would think a Daniel Cormier will win, or why you would agree to what I'm saying, or my assessment on it, on why Jon Jones is winning. This is He Knows His Sport. Checking out.